Remember when Donald Trump promised to lower prices to help out all Americans? We're going to have lower bread prices, lower gas prices, lower beer prices, lower egg prices, of course. Construction prices will come down. Everything's going to be cheaper under Trump. What we need to be ready for is to pay more for pretty much everything. Trump is making a new policy announcement, and the announcement is that in addition to China, he's going to put new tariffs on Mexico, our biggest trading partner, as well as Canada. And this is the guy who swore up and down he's going to make life cheaper for you and for me. He is now driving up the cost of your avocados, your smartphones, probably your toilet paper, and God knows Trump goes through a lot of that, Baruch Hashem. These tariffs are just taxes in disguise. And the people that will foot the bill, it's not Trump, it's not Wall Street, it's you, it's me, it's everybody else. Trump is going to make America great again by you paying more for stuff. Here is Trump making the announcement on Truth Central.
Truth Central.
Right. Here is Trump yesterday. Quote, as everyone is aware, thousands of people are pouring through Mexico and Canada, bringing crime and drugs at levels never seen before. That's already a lie. Right now, a caravan coming from Mexico, composed of thousands of people, seems to be unstoppable in its quest to come through our currently open border. Of course, the border is not open, and caravan should tickle your pandering sense, which Trump loves to talk about caravans when it's convenient. Then he never talks about it when he's in office. On January 20th, as one of my very first of many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long-simmering problem. We hereby demand that they use this power, and until such time that they do, it is time for them to pay a very big price. You know, proposing a 25% tariff on all imports from Mexico and Canada shows something we knew, which is Trump doesn't understand economics, because the tariffs don't just harm the exporting country, they raise costs here in the United States for businesses and for consumers. This is Trump announcing a new tax on Americans. And of course, suggesting that Mexico and Canada alone can solve the drug crisis ignores that the reason the drugs are coming here is because there is demand here for them. What about dealing with that aspect? Trump then continues with another troth where he says, quote, I have had many talks with China about the massive amounts of drugs, in particular fentanyl, being sent into the United States, but to no avail. Representatives of China told me that they would institute their maximum penalty, that of death, for any drug dealers caught doing this, but unfortunately they never followed through. And drugs are pouring into our country, mostly through Mexico, at levels never seen before. Until such time as they stop, we will be charging China an additional 10% tariff above any additional tariffs on all of their many products coming into the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So a 10% tariff on Chinese imports is framed as punishment, but would likely backfire. It'll just increase costs for American businesses and consumers. Economists know this. Now, you might say, what is Trump really trying to accomplish with his tariffs? Well, there's two aspects to this. George Conway explains one aspect of it on Blue Sky, where he says it's a mistake to ask this question because it assumes Trump's rationality. He wants to do this because it makes him feel powerful. He doesn't care if the effects are good or bad. Indeed, the more destruction he causes, or the more people fear destruction he may cause, the more powerful he feels. Now, George is, of course, correct. But in addition, it's what we talked about earlier. Trump wants to rattle the markets as much as possible right now in order to hurt Biden's economic record. Trump, at the end of the day, knows that when the transfer of power happens on January 20th, wherever Biden leaves things is the starting point for Trump. If unemployment remains low on January 20th, how's Trump going to reduce it? It would probably go up or stay the same. If the stock market is at another record high on January 20th, that makes it harder for Trump to reach new ground with the stock market. So anything Trump can do in the interim to raise inflation, raise unemployment, lower the stock market, it all sets Trump up to have more breathing room, to have a record to brag about. Now, as I've said before, I want the country to do well no matter who is president, but this is downright cruel because Trump doesn't suffer as a result. Trump's wealthy friends don't suffer as a result, but the average person absolutely does. The holiday season is here, and it's time to start baking delicious homemade favorites with family and friends. And our sponsor, Wild Grain, makes you look like a baking expert without the stress. This holiday, treat yourself and your loved ones to fresh baked goods. Wild Grain has incredible new fall and winter pastries, but don't wait because once they sell out, they are gone for the year. Wild Grain is the first Bake from Frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. And my favorite, the croissants. Every time I talk about it, people write to me, David, croissants. I say, yes, I'm from Argentina. Of course, the croissants. Wild Grain's boxes are fully customizable to your taste and dietary restrictions. And in addition to their classic variety box, they launched a gluten-free box and a plant-based box. What Wild Grain really does, it just takes the hassle out of baking because all of the items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less. No mess, no cleanup. My favorites are the croissants, okay? There's nothing wrong with any of the products, but the croissants, they come in frozen, you bake them, the quality and the freshness, it's just fantastic. Impress your guests with minimal effort this holiday season. Wild Grain is offering my audience $30 off your first box, plus a free item in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/Pacman. The link is in the description.